I don't really remember a time I didn't have back pain. It just has always been there. I was going into my sophomore season and I had all these things I wanted to work on, I remember. It was the week we came back from spring break and I remember being at practice, and after practice I just broke down. Like, I remember crying to my teammates and like trying to be like discreet about it, and then that's when I realized like I had to talk to my trainer, Gina, at the time, and that's when we kind of decided to get an x-ray because it just got so much worse so fast. By the end of the summer, my 5th injection procedure, I remember, being on the table and they didn't put me out. I remember just like breaking down, laying there, and I couldn't even move because there was a needle in my spine, and I think that was the point where I just like broke down. And it was like, at that point, it was kind of more like, I just need to like live like just a normal life. Like, it wasn't even about soccer anymore. It was more like, I just need to like go to classes and like get through my day. With spondylolisthesis, they have to fuse your spine together. So my lumbar portion of my spine, they kind of fused it into one bone. They used, I think, 4 screws, 2 rods, and a cage. At that point, my body was so weak. Like, just going into surgery, I think I was 110 pounds. Walking upstairs was hard because I was just so tired and broken down. And I remember recovering in the hospital, and like I would try to get up from my bed and stand up next to my bed and just like black out. And it was like that for a couple days. And each day I would go farther and like make it farther, so I just had to keep going. But like every single time I would just black out because I was just so weak and tired, and I was trying to push through it, but it was really hard. I remember being so frustrated because I was finally hitting the point where I could be way more active than I was, and my body wasn't matching that. When I got back on campus, that's when I started meeting with Lauren Link.
She was miserable, she was in pain, and at some point I posed the question, do you want to play soccer anymore? Truthfully thinking that her answer would be no, but it was the opposite.
I want to play pro, like I want to play after school, I want to win a championship. Like, I had all these goals. She was just like, are you matching that? Like, are you eating enough to get there? Are you taking care of your body enough to get there? And that's when I was like, I have all this stuff I want to do, and I can't do it because I'm not, taking care of my body. And I think that's when it clicked for me that like I had to start treating myself right.
I think she was just more purposeful with getting more meals in, with a better routine, like waking up, having breakfast, planning some snacks out. We were finally starting to wean off certain medications at that point, and that helped with sleep and caffeine intake and things like that. There was just so many moving parts to everything, but I think finally getting enough calories in her was huge. She started to see the weight come back on. She started to feel a lot better, not just when she would rehab with her athletic trainer, but also, in class, and to be able to focus in class and to focus during homework hours at night. I think she just started to finally feel better.
I lost my formation. Oh, that was a good one. Rehab started to get a lot more positive, and just everything kind of felt like myself again that spring semester. And then I think March I got cleared, and it was like, okay, this is it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful West Lafayette, Indiana. We join you live from Folk Field, where the Purdue Boilermakers are set to take on the University of Georgia Bulldogs in the first game of the regular season.
Going into that game, I was definitely nervous. It was going to be a hard game. Georgia's a really good team. All of a sudden, it was the last 10 minutes of the game, and we were still tied. And I remember thinking, like, we have to do this. Like, we played such a good game. Like, we got to win. And Maya, who was injured too and went through a lot of this with me, she made this huge tackle in the midfield, and Tegan dribbled it up and laid it off to me. It was like I hit the ball with every ounce of anger and doubt and just being mad for the past 18 months.
And how about the junior who returns after a redshirted season due to injury. Comes back.
It was definitely a moment where I just felt like I finally had gone through it. Like, all the weight's been lifted. I did it. There's no more doubts. Like, I'm back.
When I found out that Sarah won the Muscle Milk Athlete of the Year award, obviously I was stoked for her, mostly just to have some recognition around how far she'd come. I think it was easy from an outsider perspective to just say, oh, Griffith's back on the field, that's great, and carry on. But they had no idea what went into getting her back on the field. So for her to have some recognition, how far she has come and how hard she worked to get there, I think is awesome. And I definitely want to thank Muscle Milk and CPSDA for recognizing that. And I have never worked with an athlete up to this point that I have felt is more deserving of it.
When I was going through the injections and the procedures, like, it kind of had felt like I had no strength left in me going into the surgery, and you truly don't know how much strength you have until, you're faced with something so big and something that you love is put on the line. And, I knew I was strong and I knew I could get through it, but, it takes a lot out of you, and you do learn a lot about yourself.